Hi, it's Norman Kochnick here. Eyes on cricket. I hope you can hear me. I'm here in a lovely Korean restaurant. We're actually talking, of course, today about the Asia Cup, the preview of the Asia Cup. I think Moses Sheikh makes his way in very soon. This broadcast will about the qualifying team, which is in fact Hong Kong, plus the countries of Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and I've forgotten the fifth. There is a fifth side for Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. So Afghanistan is the team that our beloved friend Moses Sheikh has actually got a major high performance management role with as a consultant. So you've got Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan in a fine way to with, of course, Hong Kong now joining us as the sixth team in that group. So we've got 6 teams in total fighting for the Asia Cup that starts today with Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan. Of course, we have the likes of India versus Pakistan, a blockbuster tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see those join us very shortly. And I'm having some great Korean food here, some kimchi, some basically rhubarb as well, some rice, some restaurant here. So it's called the red leaf or lotus leaf. The sound is not clear. Make it loud. I've actually made it. So Dinesh card number 7, the position is 7. I'm talking this way.
Oh, okay.
When I look at this lovely food, I would think of a lovely bulgogi. Can I get some more of this? This is my. Some more of that?
A radish.
A radish, yeah.
Okay, enjoy.
Okay, thank you. So Dinesh Karthik can certainly be in the 7th position for his country, absolutely. I would say that would definitely be the case. We're waiting for Moses and Sheikh tonight. It's hot. It's lovely. I love Korean food, by the way. If you look there, you'll see bulgogi. Bulgogi is a form of marinated beef in a certain manner. Obviously, we have rice there as well. We have some kimchi, some other vegetables there, some seaweed there as well, and then we have radish. Radish is there as well. Amazing products we've got all blended in. So Moses should be here very soon. Whatever Ben Stokes 100 yesterday, yeah, much earlier, it was amazing. And also, not only Ben Stokes, but also folks as well. He battled it too. That match is starting in about an hour's time, I remember. So, and that's interesting. Very well, when we look at the first test match, the first match went to convincingly with South Africa. The second test match went almost entirely in the direction of England. England battled. So South Africa led 151, and England went on to score well over 300 in their total, and they've really left quite a legacy. Who is your player to watch out of for today in terms of the game between Afghanistan and Sri Lanka? Well, clearly Hasaranga is one. Hasaranga certainly is one. The other would have to be Rashid Khan for sure. Cam Green tomorrow, first one day ahead of Labuschagne. Well, Labuschagne really is not known to be when they play it. The length of Moses Sheikh, now he's meant to be here. Mind you, that's got duties later on today with Afghanistan, so they're about to play in that match. Great to hear Moses' instincts, actually. I'm not sure where he is. Australia should be playing yeah, I would agree with that. Australia should be playing at 11 a.m. Associate Dinesh Carter is the keeper. Lovely food. So, ask more questions, guys. We're waiting for Moses. Moses will be on the route shortly. In terms of who will win the match between Afghanistan.
This one? Squid? Squid.
Kid?
Squid. Squid.
Sukid.
Yes, squid.
Sukid.
Yes, squid.
Oh, beautiful.
Calamari? Yes,
Calamari.
squid. Yes,
Very,
squid.
very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Kimchi, I know. Bulgogi, I know. And this, what's it? Radish?
Radish.
What is it called in Korean?
Danmuji.
Danmuji.
Yeah, danmuji. And this one fish cake.
Fish cake? Fish cake?
Yeah, the
We should show it here. What's your name? Okay.
Hello.
Oh, look at, hello, say hello. Say hello.
Yeah,
What's your name?
it's Sophia.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia, welcome to Eyes on Cricket. So we've got here a number of, so we've got the radish here.
Mm-hmm. Fish cake.
Fish cake.
This one pasta salad.
Pasta.
Pasta salad.
Yeah.
Kimchi.
Kimchi, of course.
Seaweed salad.
And I need more of that.
Seaweed
I
salad.
love that.
Ah, this one?
And this is calamari.
Yeah, seaweed. Just
And
cream.
of course, bulgogi here.
Okay.
Get some more. There we go. So Sonu, the backpacker, is still playing with Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rahul, Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya, Dinesh Karthik, Umesh Kumar, Rav Jadeja, and Singh. Yuzi, Chahal, Ravindra is good. I would agree with that. It's a pretty good side. Thank you. Lovely seaweed. Very nice. So there we go. I recommend this highly. I don't know where Moses is. Moses is supposed to be here now. It is 1 o'clock his time, so. Very tasty. It's calamari, but very heavily marinated. Beautifully marinated. So, the big match tomorrow, of course, is India versus Pakistan. I know it's a blockbuster. Pakistan will be without some of their bowlers. Shahid Freedy's out. And they'll be slightly weakened, but Haris Ralph is there and he will do very well. Keep asking me questions, bro. While we wait for Moses, he'll be here shortly. Amazingly nice food. So, what's your thoughts on the Pakistan bowling? Can they surprise everyone? They certainly can. I mean, all of them. Any bowler that bowls for Pakistan is worth watching. He is usually an outstanding fast bowler and a great spinner. So, surprise packets always in the Pakistani bowlers for sure. The batting, we know what we're going to get. For sure, Sam. So, there you go. Moses and Sheikh were supposed to be here at 1 o'clock this time. Oh. So, the Asia Cup starting today. Again, with Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan. Rashid Khan, a great side in Afghanistan. Please take them lightly. India versus Pakistan will follow, and at least 2 more sides to play, and probably we will be Pakistan versus Hong Kong. And let's round out the 16 that we've got. Only 6 teams in the Asia Cup, as opposed to 16 for the World Cup. So stand back with Shah as a serious bowler. When you say Shah, you mean Yashir Shah or the other bowler? Well, who do you mean by when you say Shah? That's such a very general name. So what about today's match? Well, certainly. Well, Sri Lanka has Sri Lanka. Most of the members of the keep and for the company. They've been warmed up nicely by the performances against Pakistan and Australia, so they'll be ready for it. Afghanistan is a surprise packet for anyone. They've got, of course, Russian Khan, they've got some very good batters in their team. They've got a lot of dangerous players that we don't know a lot about. The July weather is very, very hot, so it tells us when we're going or not. It's not about how hot it is, it's more about the condition. So Barama only wants to please salmon and poached eggs for me. We're at a Korean restaurant. Is that specialty for them? A couple of radish. Incredible radish, just pickled radish is just amazing. So, back to the question of toss. To me, the toss is not that relevant. It's the conditions of the wicket that is. It's fairly dry, predictable pitches, not very high bouncing. The soup very much suit the subconscious of the players, which is all. Pakistan has a decided advantage. They've played in the UAE over a number of years. We should see the resurgence of Kohli. So Warner, Finch, Smith, Carey, Green, Stoynes, Marsh, Maxwell, Stark, same with Hawk. Now it's playing 11. Yeah, that's pretty much it. These chopsticks, I'm not using chopsticks. Chopsticks, not for me. Chopsticks are selling, I'm not a chopstick type of person. What do you think of Virat Kohli opening a good? No, to me, Virat Kohli is going to come good, and we're going to be shocked when he does come good. Trust me, he'll come good in a big, big way. Kimchi, I love kimchi. What's this again? What's this again? It tastes like egg. Hassan Ali play tomorrow. Well, I heard that he wasn't he picked in place of Shaheen Afridi, but then there's an issue with Hassan's fitness as well. They're both under injury time. So I'm not sure. At this point, Shaheen Afridi is definitely out. And Hassan Ali was supposed to be his replacement. But there is word that he's also injured. It doesn't matter. Whoever Pakistan use for their thing will be more than good in their bowling. Whoever will be the highest run getter. That's a good question there. This Shah Aslam. Who will be the highest run getter? Will it be Rohit Sharma? Will it be Kohli? Will it be Babar Azam? Will it be an Afghani batsman? What about Sky Kumar? It will be the highest as well. We don't know effectively yet, do we? Dhoni will take the highest number of wickets. Dhoni. Is he playing? I don't think he was playing. I mean, he has taken it in the previous. I think he just had 7 series. This is the 8th. Is that correct? I think this is the 8th series. 8th Asia Cup. Might already have taken the most wickets. He's on a bowler, the most successful player. I think tomorrow, match to me, 100% chance because the Sun team now very inexperienced, only in one match. Anyway, Pakistan will hold back for the World Cup now. start flying Thornton, well, he's going to play against a fairly limited side, so you better find planes. Zimbabwe team, this is not even worth talking. Quite funny, isn't it? Very on the other side. I've seen them. So, on the Australian conditions, northern Queensland. Northern Queensland, of course. Both Cairns and Townsville are locations for these matches between Australia and Zimbabwe and obviously New Zealand. There's 3 countries involved that are playing in northern Queensland, northern part of Australia. Do you know what happened to? Do you not know what happened to Muslims personally here? And he is the only bowler. Jamie's not a bowler, he's a keeper, so I'm completely lost where I'm. Harvey? I don't know who we're talking about there. How are you, Bob? Hi, how are you? So Sean, Aslam, explain to me who you're talking about. MS Stoney, no. Who are you talking about? Seaweed is just magnificent. Seaweed is beautiful. Very nice. Darnay is not a wicket. We're talking about the. Give me the full name, Sam. Here at Barton, I'll reach the low here. So Darnay is not a wicket. And who are we talking about? Expand on that name. What's his Afghani bowler? I'm not sure. Is that who we're talking about? Now, I'm going to take this change. Template play very aggressively. First set. It was a good first. Look, they're all doing a fairly aggressive side. And they did. And now, when you look at the fact that they're playing with so many great players, they can afford it. My Reds will win the series, the Asia Cup, all 6 sides. I know Sri Lanka will feature. Hong Kong's there, but now they make up the numbers. The English aren't up to scratch either. It's really India and Pakistan. It has to be those 2 teams. Moses is just joining us. Oh, sorry, sir, Mr. Afghanistan. With your Afghani top on. How are you?
G'day, mate. How are you? Can you hear me?
Let me just put it into context here. Moses Sheikh is in the UAE, currently warming up with the Afghanistan team, playing Sri Lanka, and we have been graced by his presence, which I'm very happy about. Tell us, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Norman, and yourself and your audience. G'day. Hope everyone's going okay.
They're all waiting for you to come. They've all been waiting for you to come.
Oh, thanks, guys.
I'm in a Korean restaurant, and I've been eating myself
Oh,
silly.
nice. Oh, nice.
So, Moses, tell us what's happened. Tell our audience what has transpired with you.
Look, I've been very fortunate enough to be contacted by Afghanistan Cricket Board on Friday. And within a day or two, they offered me to join the team in Asia Cup, which, Norman, in this cricket world, it is funny. It just happens, and it happens really quickly as well. So within 2 days, I joined the team on Monday. So so flew out Monday and joined the team here. Jonathan Trott is the head coach, from England. Yes, everyone knows Trotty from Ashes and whatnot. So he's fantastic. He's been really good with the team as well. And team boys, I've joined since Monday. So today is our first game against Sri Lanka, opening game for Asia Cup. So I'm very excited.
Now, Sri Lanka might rue not using your abilities here when you play against them. They're going to realise how good you are. And I'm sure even within a short week, you've done a great job with the team.
I'm feeling very honoured, Norman, and very stoked because I think not a lot of your audience know, but yourself know that I got interviewed for Sri Lanka role as well. Yeah, things happened really quickly, so I accepted the role with the Afghanistan. So hopefully things do start to change with the Afghanistan cricket, and they've got fantastic 2020 cricket players. So with their spin bowling attack with Rashid Khan, Mujib, Noor Ahmed, and their captain. They've got a fantastic team of spin bowling, and they've got not nice upcoming youngsters who are actually hitting big balls. So the training has been fantastic. We've been training different hours of the day during the week. Some in the night, some in the hot afternoons, just to acclimatize because they've come from Ireland where it was quite fresh, and some of the guys have been playing in England as Rashid Khan and Mujib and all that. They've been playing the 100 tournament in England, so they've come from different conditions. So it's been a productive camp over the last 5 days, and boys have trained hard, worked hard. So looking forward to game one.
Now, let's congratulate you nice and loudly because you have been a fantastic addition, not just to this show, but to world cricket. Going back to your IPL days and the very beginning of that, now we've got Afghanistan, which will benefit greatly from your knowledge. That the young guys can be brought to Australia. I can see them all going to Queensland at some stage. I think with your influence, you never know.
True, we are actually...
That's the future of cricket. There's a team like Afghanistan, you'll produce some of the greats in the future, I think.
I think so. I think they're spending quite a lot in infrastructure as well, and their youngsters are training everywhere, and they're holding a camp before the World Cup, which not any other team is doing in Australia for 15 days. So they're going to be in Queensland, in Brisbane. So if you're around, come and see the training. So they will be training for 15 days. Might be opportunity to play a couple of games with some of the second 11 or something for a few 2020 hits over the period from October 1 to October 15. They'll be holding a camp and it's all approved now from ICC. They're just in a process of booking venues and whatnot. So hopefully that will benefit them quite a lot leading into the World Cup.
Now, your tenure at the moment for Afghanistan is the Asia Cup, but I'm going to guess that they're going to push you along with them to the World Cup. Is that the fairest?
I'd love to. Absolutely. There's an opportunity. They spoke to me about it, but first thing first is the Asia Cup. So hopefully we do well, settle in. I think they would like to see how I fit in with the group as well. So hopefully everything goes well from that perspective as well. And then obviously, who wouldn't love to be part of a World Cup and in Australia, in our backyard? It would be fantastic.
Now, let's not, all the viewers that are coming along here that are seeing Mosen, he's been a regular on our show. He's not in Australia at the moment. He's not in Queensland. He's actually in the UAE. Why? Because he is part of the Afghanistan management and coaching staff. He's got a major role to play as a consultant, but I think it's more than that. He'll bring the level to another level, well above what they're even playing now. The likes of Rashid Khan will see the value of Mujib, and there's a plethora of great bowlers and players they've got. Now, I'm getting asked here by Akash Hawk who's going to win today, and I'm very confident the Russians will take several wickets. I know you're biased because you're currently with Afghanistan, but Afghanistan have got a real chance to give Sri Lanka a hell of a shake, haven't they?
Absolutely. The condition in UAE, everyone knows it takes a lot of turn. They're slow wickets. They're not as bouncy as the Australian pitches. are. So everyone will rely heavily upon spin, and obviously through the middle order batting is going to be crucial, because top order, when the ball is harder, it is easier to bat in subcontinent and in Dubai, Sharjah. But as soon as the ball starts to get softer, older, in through the middle overs, it is really hard to bat through those overs. So I think that is going to be a crucial time for any team to dominate that middle overs, and that's where you're going to turn the games around. And for that purpose, we've done a lot of preparation in through the middle overs to convert the dot balls into singles and take the opportunities where we can for the boundary option and that type of stuff. So we've trained accordingly, and that's where my role comes in, about the tactician and putting strategy behind how we're going to approach and whatnot. So we've done a lot of hard work in the last 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 days, in trying to deal with that difficulty when the balls get softer and older. And Sri Lanka have got good spinners as well. They've got really good 3 spinners. It's going to be, I think, whoever bats through better through middle overs is going to take the game. And that's going to be key all through this tournament.
Now, the question that's being asked as well, it's very hot there. It's extremely hot. It's probably close to 50 this time of year. Is that going to affect the conditions? Probably not. I think Sri Lanka and Afghanistan know what hot weather's like. Now, the pitch, it's fairly low bouncing, isn't it? So which will suit both of these sides, quite frankly.
Absolutely. It's currently 41 degrees outside, but it's the temperature gauge says it feels like 50 degrees. So humidity at this time of the year is quite high, which will affect under the lights. As you know, the dew factor will kick in as well. So it's going to be interesting how the night games or the second half of the night plays, because I think the training pattern that we've been attending, it's showing that the nighters are becoming a little bit more comfortable compared to the early or late afternoon when the game starts about 6:30. That is going to be still a little bit uncomfortable, but boys are professional. They've been training in that condition for a long time, and they've been where they come from, the weather has been hot as well. So I think that they will adopt really well. They will adopt, but the thing would be how well the ball plays in the under light. How would that affect? If the ball skids on to the bat, then it become easier to bat second. But again, we'll have to see.
Now, it's very interesting because Hong Kong have qualified, haven't they, for the Asian Cup? But are they in the World Cup? They're not, are they?
No, I think they probably still have to play another qualifier. So they've done really well. And if you remember Trent Johnston from Cricket New South Wales, he's the head coach of Hong Kong. So his preparation has been good, and they caught up with him at breakfast the other day, and he's upbeat about the development in those South Asian countries and even countries like Kuwait and whatnot. They've been putting a lot of effort into. It's going to be interesting how they've got 2 big teams to play. They've got Pakistan and India, so it's going to be 2 tough games, but they're going to be tested.
So effectively, they don't play all the teams together. All the teams don't play. There's 2 groups, and the winners of those groups go through. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So 2 groups of 3, and the top 4 will go and play each other in round robin in second round. So in our group, we have got Afghanistan, of course, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. So we have 2 games, one today and then one on the 30th. So the top 2 teams will go on, and 2 teams from the Group B stage. So there'll be 4 teams. They'll play each other again, and then the top 2 play a final on 11th of September.
So let's assume India and Pakistan going through in their group. That's
Cool.
pretty sure.
That's pretty sure, yeah.
Afghanistan have got a huge chance here. They're very fortunate because other than Hong Kong, Bangladesh are not in great form. So there's a very good chance they can knock them off. And Sri Lanka, well, that's the big test tonight. And as you know, you've got a double barrel here. Not only are you involved with Afghanistan, you're against a side that could well have had you with them. So
True.
I think you already know that Sri Lanka's pretty intimately. You've had a bit of exposure to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
realistically, it's a matter of if Afghanistan, and this is my opinion, Afghanistan can bat first and get the runs on the board and put enormous pressure
Yep.
on Sri Lanka, that could be the way to
Yep.
go. What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. And if you look at the history of the subcontinent pitches over the last year since the World Cup, it's been the case where teams have put in a total and they've defended it well. Even in the IPL, World Cup, and then even post World Cup, whatever games have happened, the teams have actually put a total up, used the conditions first up, and then put a score up and then defended it. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be hard bowling in under lights with the dewy conditions, wet ball, and especially with the spinners when the ball is a bit wet. And Norman, it's really hard to grip and really hard to turn the ball. So if you lose that ability or that condition unfavorability, then your spinners are out of play. And then pace on the ball is always welcome in these conditions across subcontinent or UAE. So it's going to be very interesting.
Now, unrushing Joe, you get a decent total up in a T20 match. You throw him into action. There's 4 overs where they'll get virtually no runs and lose all wickets. Almost guaranteed. He's probably, I would argue, he's the best spin bowler in the world in the short form on his day.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. He's such a champion. He trains well. He actually the 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 amount of respect he's got amongst the boys and the younger group. He actually spends a lot of time talking to them, talking game plan, strategy, how he actually approaches, how he sets his over up. It is amazing to see closely how he actually trains hard himself. Not only that, he helps the other younger guys in the squad in getting them to understand the game better. It's really amazing. So him, of course, is going to be a factor. And then Mujib, we all know he's played for Brisbane Heat. Everyone in Australia should know him for a long time. He's been part of Big Bash as well, and he's another guy who can spin the ball both ways. And he's another threat in the middle overs that he can take the ball away from the right hander and bring it back. So he's going to be another. The other guy who's impressed me quite a lot is Noor Ahmed. He's a left arm Chinaman. He bowls really good lines. He spins the ball, and he's a very energetic bowler. So love to see him some stage in action as well. And of course, Nabi as an all-rounder and a captain and a senior head, it gives them another option of off spin as well. So there's a lot of spin bowling options. With pace, they've got Naveen, who's a little bit of Boomerang style action. He bowls good Yorkers, and he hits the deck hard as well. So there's quite a lot of options in bowling capacity. But as I said, it's the test will be in the middle overs, depending on as soon as the ball gets softer, who actually holds their nerves and bat longer, make partnerships and get a bit of total up on the board.
I'm predicting Afghanistan to beat Sri Lanka, to be honest with you. And I also predict Afghanistan to beat Bangladesh. I think Afghanistan are severely underrated in the world scene. India and Pakistan, granted, we're going to talk about them in a minute, especially around the loss of Shaheen. And is it also Hassan Ali is also in doubt as well?
Hassan Ali's joined the squad this afternoon. Mohammad Wasim has got a back injury, side strain. He incurred that 2 days ago at training. So tournament has allowed an injury swap. So he is going to join the squad. But they've also got Hasnan from, if everyone remember, he played in Big Bash last year as well and got suspected action reported, and he's done his remodel of action, and now he's back in the international circuit. So he's there. So Pakistan have got good pace attack along with
Harris
spin
Rao.
bowling. Rauf is there, and then you got Hasnan is there, Naseem Shah is there, and Hassan Ali joining as well. So there's a good pace battery. Plus they've got Usman Kadir as a leg spinner, Shadab Khan, and Muhammad Nawaz as a left arm spinner as well. So they're well resourced in both departments. So it's going to be very interesting how tomorrow's game between Pakistan and India will go, because that would be a lot of interest will be around that game. How post the World Cup, how Pakistan won against India, but how they meet again tomorrow would be very interesting.
Well, you've said it all. This is a great lead-in tournament to a T20 World Cup.
Absolutely.
No other competition anywhere. Australia plays Zimbabwe or God knows who they're playing in all points. That doesn't cut it. I think India and New Zealand are playing together too. I think coming up as but this tournament now, this round robin, the certainly India and Pakistan, and it's wonderful for Afghanistan as well, because Afghanistan could really cut their teeth here in preparation for the World Cup. I'm thinking good things of Afghanistan, not only because you're involved, but I think that's a major influence too. I think the stability of this, they've got a very stable team as far as I'm aware. They've been building up quite nicely. Russian Khan is by far the most important. But we haven't talked about India at all here. And India, to me, despite having played quite well of late, they're going to have to gel. We have to work out where their combinations are. And that's the major issue that India had. Pakistan, they're not expected to do well. Now that they've lost some of their bowlers, they're not expected to do well. And they'll, both Afghanistan and Pakistan, they're going to have a little freedom about their play.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. India have been training really hard as well, and Kohli's back after the rest. Sharma's back, and everyone heard, these guys have Bumrah is the only one who's injured. Otherwise, everyone's back in Indian team, and they're really been training hard. And some of the footage, I don't know if you had a chance to look at. Everyone's been doing power hitting practice and whatnot. And I was fortunate yesterday. Our training was so two teams trained together at ICC Academy. So we were training alongside India yesterday. To see those guys hitting the ball and just the execution of skill was just fantastic. KL Rahul, I saw him bat yesterday. He was just phenomenal the way he was power hitting the ball. It was really good.
So Himanshu Rahula says he saw you in the camp on some good things. All right, so in terms of the final now, with India and Pakistan, well, they will split, won't they? If they're 1 and 2, they'll go on both sides of the semi-final draw, which could lead to India and Pakistan coming up together.
Final.
With all relevance and all due respect to the teams there, I would think India and Pakistan win their group. Hong Kong are gone. India and Pakistan will split and probably lead their respective groups. And it's better with Afghanistan, depending on if they do make it, which we assume they will. Afghanistan, probably Sri Lanka will be the two that probably will make it. Bangladesh should fall by the wayside. And I'm going to assume that I truly believe Afghanistan will be the top seed. So it could be Afghanistan versus Pakistan, India on the other side. India will beat Sri Lanka, I'm pretty sure. So it'll be an Afghanistan-Pakistan final, potentially one of those two sides versus India. What a blockbuster this is.
Oh, mate, every game, I think second round, every game is going to be so much with interest as well, because Pakistan and Afghanistan game is going to be huge. It's going to be massive. There's a lot of community
here. Will you
here.
be physically watching out in the stands? Will you be there?
Absolutely, yeah, I'll be in the change room.
Is it the same ground? All the games at one ground?
Yeah, some games are in Sharjah. So first game is in Dubai, and then second game against Bangladesh is in Sharjah. And then I think there's 1 or 2 games in Abu Dhabi, and then rest in Dubai. So majority of the games are held in Dubai Stadium. So it's a pretty even-sided stadium. It doesn't favor short side or long side. It's very central sort of square. And I think it is good that it doesn't favor one side of a small side. You know how sometimes, like Sharjah ground, it's a smaller ground. So people will say, yeah, it is. So it's a decent ground, and I like the even conditions for all teams, which is going to be, and then every game is going to be blockbuster. And everyone know in UAE there's a lot of expats, both from India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka. There's a lot of people have been lining up at training. So even when we're going into ICC Academy, there've been people outside lining up for a photo or an autograph or something. It's just been amazing to see support from the locals.
I'm both excited for you. I'm jealous. I'm everything. You've got all these things going for you. Now, let me just. So you're physically in Dubai right now, aren't you?
That's true. So we're leaving soon. No. I've got a team meeting coming up soon, so I've got to address the team meeting, and then we're leaving for the ground. We're leaving for the ground very soon, and then from there we'll have our.
Do you realise that Mohsin Sheikh is not just in his Queensland abode? He's actually in UAE, heading there with the Afghan team to play against Sri Lanka in the very first Asia Cup match, and we'll see you in the World Cup as well. Just a quick question: will Pakistan miss Shaheen?
It's going to be very interesting, because the thing with Shaheen is not just his ability to take wickets with new ball, it's the Indian top order that is vulnerable to left arm quicks as well. So you saw him bowl against Rahul, Kohli, and Co up the top, and he got 3 wickets because of his angle that he swings the ball back in and takes the ball away from right-hander as well. So that is going to be one factor that everyone's going to be missing, and I think that is where advantage goes to India, because Pakistan have not replaced any left arm pace. So it's going to be. They've got out and out pace, which is true, but it is all right armers. It's not left armor. There's no left arm angle that it troubles Kohli, Sharma, and Rahul. So it's going to be very interesting. If India gets off a flyer, they've got finishers like Pant and Co that can come in and cash in on the last 5 or 6 overs. And if the score is around 180, 190, it's a big ask.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So, how much more time have you got?
I've got 5 minutes. I can spare 5 more minutes, and then.
Himanshu Rahel is asking, and he'll win the match early. That may all be coming. Ramarani is congratulating you.
Thank you very much, Bram.
Good vibes. Sebastian Sockman there. I'm not sure what that means. Okay. There's a lot of discussion here about.
Australia, Zimbabwe.
Sam wants to Australia versus Zimbabwe. Leave that to tomorrow, Sam. We can talk about that to death. I think it's going to be a cakewalk for Australia. A bit of a mismatch and not good preparation at all. I think they've made a mistake in playing Zimbabwe. I really do. This is not the preparation they needed anyway. Razul Hassan's talking about that. Look, India, Pakistan tomorrow, what a huge game. It's always huge. And having India versus Pakistan coming back again in October in Australia, which I'm going to be there for. And we've still got you involved. Puri Majumdar is extremely happy about your role, what you're doing. Helped engage you, especially if you're with Afghanistan. My God, he'll be all over you. It would be great. 50 days to go to the World Cup today. 50 days.
Absolutely.
Usman Khawaja was down at 50 days to the World Cup. We had Usman Khawaja here in the Opera House having a bit of near Hub Bridge having a chat early this morning. It's all guns blazing. I've got my new Kia Sportage, which you haven't seen yet. When you're in Sydney, I'm going to pick you up, Moses, and you're not allowed to put your feet on the ground. I'm going to Maz's opening of his restaurant next week. It's all happening here with his bowling clinics.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you. Guys, do you realise we've got royalty here, Afghan royalty, and not
stop it.
Afghan royalty. It's a tremendous. Norman Cameron Green will play at that level. Yes, that's a big talk when apparently is insane.
Yeah, batting in middle order. Yes.
What am I adding? Deepak Dubey, what's adding your comment? Did I miss your comment? Here we are. Can Afghan boys dark horse in Asia Cup? Of course they can.
They can surprise. They'll be really surprise package. As I said, the preparation has been good. It's just it's going to be interesting how the boys come and react. So it's going to be very interesting.
So again, India one side, and you'll have Afghanistan and Pakistan fighting at the other, and they'll play in that manner. I think Hong Kong, Bangladesh, and sorry to say Sri Lanka aren't really up there.
Hopefully.
This is where it gets serious when India and Pakistan are playing in Asia Cup. Although, did you realise? Has India ever won an Asia Cup?
Yeah, India has won most Asia Cups. They have won 7, I think. Sri Lanka have won 5. Pakistan have won 2. So predominantly since the late 80s, when the concept started, India have won the most, and then Sri Lanka after that. So Sri Lanka have been, but the thing is, the World Cup, the Asia Cup traditionally has been a 50-over competition. This is the only second time. This is only second time when this competition is played as a 2020. It was played a 2020 tournament 3 years ago when there was a 2020 Cup, again similar conditions as what we have got now. There's the 2020 Cup in October, so that's why the organizations decided to play that as a 2020 Cup. So it's going to be interesting.
A lot of new people on today. Kunal Abhishek's just mentioned here about it could be the end of Kohli. We'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
The new beginning for him as well.
Yeah.
It's a serious look at Kohli. No, I don't think it's.
I think Kohli.
You got to go.
Kohli will be good. I've seen him at 2 trainings. He's been very relaxed. He's been enjoying he's been running around fielding, and I think he enjoyed that break that he had for a month or so. So I think he looks fresh, and I like to see him score runs. Obviously not against us, but I'd like to see him score runs. He's still idol of a lot of people, and even young kids look up to him and whatnot. So he's one of the superstars, and you want him to score runs. So obviously, they'll carry him into World Cup as well, even though if he has a lean 2020. But how can you leave out Kohli out of the 2020 at the moment? He's just a superstar.
So who are you going to go for, Moses, when Afghanistan play Pakistan in the semi-final of the Asian
Oh,
Cup?
it's going to be, mate. I've got to go with the shirt that I've got on. they're paying for my bread and butter at the moment.
Stand up. Let's see. Okay, that's very presentable. Okay.
That's our
What's on the
travel
back?
shirt.
Back? Is there anything on the back?
Oh yeah, it just says Afghanistan at the back.
Well, you've got to turn around and show us that.
Don't know if the light
We don't see.
is that good as.
No, it's coming through perfectly.
Is light all right?
No, completely right. Now, and go more to your right. There it is. You are. I'm going to be very intrigued to see what happens when the Afghani-Pakistan match gets really, really close. Baran wants to see your pants. No, we don't want to see. Don't ask for his pants. That's getting too personal. In fact, he could be in his underwear, Baran. Do you realise?
That's right. I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I'm in my shorts, so yeah.
But you know what? On his underpants, I'm pretty sure it says Pakistan. I'm sure it says Pakistan. So you better be careful not to bend over with your Pakistani underpants.
Exactly.
Top of the Pakistan pants. Okay, okay. We'll end now quickly about England and South Africa. South Africa have completely been back foot. They did well in the first match, but as I think we talked about, England have come back hard, and they come back hard. Stokes and folks have both got centuries. Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Norman, I've got to go. I've got a meeting coming up, and I'll probably catch up with you tomorrow if you want to for the Pakistan game. Yes, absolutely. Thanks. Sounds good. Thanks to your audience. Thank you very much. Sorry, guys, I've got to go.
Moses and Sheikh, welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, time.
So, Moses and Sheikh, of course, he is with the Afghanistan team. He's a consultant or assistant coach, virtually, or high performance coach for the period of the Asia Cup, and it will continue, I'm pretty sure, under the conditions in Australia for the World Cup for Afghanistan. What a great acquisition they've made with Afghanistan side. Certainly have not regret his involvement. So Ben Stokes and his 100 was magnificent. And of course, Folks and his century is also very important. They got the ascendancy against Pakistan. That match will be starting pretty much any minute now. Got the time there, and that'll be on C. So yeah, that was a great addition of that as well. So Australia will be playing in Zimbabwe tonight. I'm not really excited. India, Pakistan supersedes that immensely. The game between Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, I'm predicting Afghanistan. I think Afghanistan will actually win. And of course, then move into the next series. Hong Kong and Bangladesh make up the numbers, in my opinion, for this particular Asian Cup, which is held in the UAE, Dubai, both in Dubai, Sharjah, and also in Abu Dhabi, with a final likely, of course, in Dubai. So again, we're in India, Pakistan, and Hong Kong on one pool, and then you've got Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. So out of those two pools, India and Pakistan go through. Hong Kong will go. I predict Bangladesh will go, and Afghanistan and Sri Lanka will go through. So that's my prediction. What's your? It'll be a great match tomorrow to see Nazim have ability to produce something. I hope he does too. I think it'll be great. They'll bowling prowess with Pakistan. Great match tomorrow. We'll be covering that before you event. So it's 50 days out from the T20 World Cup. That was announced today. We have the Asia Cup happening tonight. We've got Australia versus Zimbabwe tomorrow. We'll also get South Sudan versus the Cowboys, which has already started. So there's a bit going on now. So stay tuned. So guys, any questions, please ask me. We'll be throughout the World Cup. We'll be together throughout the actual Asia Cup. We'll be together. I'll be probably talking a bit later today, probably after the day 3 of the match between England and South Africa, where England is certainly in the 7th seed. Probably could well wrap it up today if it all goes their way. They probably could wrap it up and have them equally as defiant and dominant in their victory as was South Africa in the first test. So we won test all. England have come back and the likes of Bear clearly been stoked. What a champion. What a champion play. He really is up at the end, both at the level now, certainly, and Flintoff level. And of course, folks keeping is certainly showing progress. Big great match today, certainly as I mentioned before. So, any more questions, guys, before we sign off? We've reached 50 minutes of the talk. We've had a great session today. It's been great to have Moses and Carr here. I hope you all watched that. If you haven't replayed this, rewind back and watch Moses and Sheikh, who is a consultant, assistant coach, and high performance coach for Afghanistan. They've watched Russian Khan and Majid, and they're signing a great batting lineup against it. The Sri Lanka side, well, has got Hazaraka, but he won't be as potent in the UAE as what he was at home in his own country. I think that will be a difference. It certainly is in Afghanistan's favour. They're very much used to the conditions that occur in Dubai. So there we go. All right, guys. Garam Marani, how are you? Now, we're not going to ask for the shorts and belt pants of Moses and Jack. It's not what we're sure he's top and other stuff. So, wonderful. I've finished my meal. As you can see, there's nothing left in my meal. It's all gone. It's all on my stomach. So, we're just about finished now. I'll drink a bit of water here to finish up and we'll enjoy the song. So, thank you again for your time last night, guys. Please watch the next installment there. I'll probably be on for England versus, as I said, South Africa later on time. I have David Gravely joining us. But tomorrow, oh my God, where do I start? India versus Pakistan in the blockbuster preview will give you, we may talk about Australia, Zimbabwe as well, and maybe more about England and South African matches as it develops. Then Rev Sports comes up in October, 50 days away with the start of the World Cup, and I'll be covering it in all the venues around Australia. Sydney, Melbourne, and my homes, also Sydney. Bye-bye, Baram. All right, they're saying, I'll come online too. Today, so later on. Okay, you want to come on? We'll do that. Okay, I'll send you the link. All right. So I'll send you the links for all of them. All right, guys, we're just about finished. So again, stay tuned. So if you like and share the post for Eyes on Cricket, Baram Marani, Moses and Sheikh was the assistant coach there for Afghanistan. Talking minutes before we left with the team bus, heading for the ground to play Sri Lanka in the first of the Asia Cup matches. So Sri Lanka play Afghanistan will play Bangladesh, and then there's the third, and then from that Sri Lanka will probably play Bangladesh to round them off. And the other group, India play Pakistan first up, and then both India and Pakistan both play a very overrated, I would argue, team of Hong Kong. Who will be probably summarily smacked by those two. India will probably go through as one semi-final, Pakistan the other, and then India will probably play, well, I'm going to guess now and say Sri Lanka, and Pakistan will play Afghanistan. Quite a solid performance all the way around. All right, so there we are. Cheers to you with my glass of water. Grand restaurant here. It's called Red Lotus. Quick little squeeze around the restaurant. That's where I've been eating. See there? Alright, so guys, we'll talk to each other very soon. Alright, so stay tuned. If you like and share the post, subscribe. Make sure that you do share this post. There are plenty more to see you all later on tonight when England play. Thank you.